Hello, everybody, and welcome to a special bonus episode of the Pies Nation podcast. Nicholas Sacco here. Great to be with you, and it's great to have the privilege to be able to speak to Collingwood midfielder Ned Long, who's been kind enough to join us for this bonus episode. Ned, thank you so much for joining us, mate, and great to have you so far this year.
Yeah, thank you. Appreciate you having me on.
Now, before we get into you a little bit personally, mate, another excellent game by the Pies on Saturday, despite just falling short. I mean, it was a real grueling and tough contest, at least that's what it looked like from out in the stands. But how do you pull up from a game like that in the aftermath, and then how quickly do you try and switch that focus in the short turnaround trip to Perth?
Yeah, it's tough. Yeah, it was a really exciting game. Obviously, a thrilling finish and a little bit disappointing. Couldn't quite get the job done. But yeah, I think we're really good as a club at being positive regardless of win or loss, and it not having a big effect on how we feel and how we act. So yeah, I think that's a big part of how we go about it, and especially this week with a short turnaround, 5 days into Thursday night in Perth, it's crucial that we move on quickly. So I think it's a real strength of the club and something that we're really good at.
Yeah, I mean, we've seen it from the outside looking in just about how much you try and really focus on the positives of your game. And Craig McRae is such a big teacher in that. He's had a unique impact on so many players at the club. And it seems like the traits that you have as a footballer really resonates with Fly quite a bit, given the way he's spoken positively about you in the media. What's his role been like in your footballing journey so far?
Yeah, Fly's been huge. Ever since I came across, even a part of the VFL, just training with the AFL occasionally, he's been massive in terms of my belief and talking to me and giving me confidence. So, yeah, he's definitely played a crucial role, and I think that belief is starting to come through this year and starting to feel more comfortable, which, yeah, strong correlation to sort of what he's done and how he's helped me.
You talk about the belief, and I want to take you back a little bit to that time between departing Hawthorn and then eventually joining Collingwood as an AFL player. I mean, you mentioned it before, you were part of the VFL system and playing some terrific football during that time. I'm sure Fly gave you some insight during your stint at the VFL, but were there other methods in that period that you looked to focus on when you were trying to get yourself back towards an AFL list? Because it's been extraordinary the way you've been able to turn yourself into a ready-made footballer so quickly.
Yeah. I guess there was definitely a fair few focuses I had over the time, but the main thing was just being consistent in terms of sort of my work and training. And so, over that time, putting some really consistent training together, and like I mentioned just before, was lucky enough to be a part of the AFL program for some trainings most weeks, which I think definitely made an impact. And so just tried to focus on sort of my strengths and increase them, and then I think got some really nice balance in terms of overall life with some uni and different stuff which I think helped my footy as well.
Yeah, just touch on that for a second if you can. I believe you're doing some data analytics and you're also studying a commerce degree. What's that juggling aspect like of trying to get a good work-life balance between playing football at the highest level but also taking part in other studies and interests?
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's massive. It's definitely been massive for me. I think at Hawthorn I probably didn't quite have the balance right, and I think just focusing on other things, I guess having some other stresses or things to think about throughout the week. I think it just gives a nice balance, and it keeps footy being fun, I guess, in a simplistic way of putting it. Looking forward to training and games, and I think that balance has definitely helped me in terms of how I think about the game and in terms of how I'm able to play come game day.
Yeah, I mean, it's certainly an underrated factor, I guess, for many players these days. You talked about having the opportunity of being part of an AFL system while through your VFL journey, which you highlighted some of the benefits there. But what specifically about the AFL program training that you did before actually getting on an AFL list do you feel has impacted you positively in terms of the way we're seeing you play your footy right now?
Yeah, I guess just being able to consistently train at the highest level makes a big impact. Obviously, it's definitely expedited the transition to the AFL team, sort of getting to know the boys over that pre-season period in the beginning of last year, and as well as just getting to know our system and our structure. So, yeah, I think it's all played a role in helping that transition be sort of a lot easier and a lot smoother. And yeah, it's allowed me, I guess, this year to come in and feel really comfortable.
Well, it certainly looks like you're comfortable, and I think that was highlighted by your performance against Sydney in Gather Round. It was highly praised by everybody in the media and also internally, I'm sure, within the club. I mean, it wasn't just your ball-winning ability, but also for how you were able to help others impact the game through your ferocity at the contest. It was just terrific to see all round. I mean, it's been stated as a breakout game for you at the senior level. Do you reflect particularly on that game in your short journey with the club this year?
Yeah, I guess I do. It was I guess a really good game where the stars align, you could say. It was a sub for the couple of weeks leading up to it, and really happy to get the full game and tried to relish my chance and take my chance. So yeah, I think it lined up really well, and I was surrounded by a lot of other great players that night, and well, just generally this season, and so yeah, allowed me to play to my strengths, and sort of ended up a really positive result.
Yeah, you touched on being around some of those players. It must be a little bit surreal to be included in the same group as Nick Dacos, Scotty Pendlebury, Steele Sidebottom, but not just be included. You complement their game styles pretty well all around the ground, and particularly in midfield. Tell us a bit about what it's like to work with that trio and other midfield players around that group, and how they've helped you influence your own game at the back end of last year, but also this season.
Yeah, it's been incredible. Obviously, as you mentioned, it's some of the best players in the competition, and some of the most experienced players in the competition. So, yeah, I couldn't really be surrounded by much better. And yeah, I'm really fortunate for that. I'm really grateful for that, and I think they've all played a really big role in helping me feel comfortable and sort of play to my strengths. Like you're saying, I think we complement each other quite well, and sort of bring some different elements to the game. I think we've got a really complete midfield at the moment, which is really strong, obviously, from Darcy Cameron to the ruck. Obviously, yeah, Steele, Pendles and Nick, like you're saying, and even our wings, Lipper and Crispy are playing unreal at the moment, really consistent footy. So, yeah, I think it's a really good combination, and they've all definitely made a major impact for me, making me feel comfortable, but also just heaps of learnings week to week on things I can focus on or improve on, or just different elements of the game that new things I'm picking up on. So yeah, it's been unreal to be a part of the midfield.
And I mean, there's obviously been a lot of talk about how things are looking this season and where the Pies are tracking, I guess, from a midfield point of view. But it's likely that this is going to be a group that's reinvented a little bit over the next couple of years. We're going to see Steele and Pendlebury, as much as we'd like to see them play forever, it's likely they'll be departing the club from a playing perspective in the years to come. Without looking too far ahead, I guess, have you had the opportunity to look ahead and see how this group might transform with you potentially playing a greater role?
Yeah, I wouldn't say I've thought too much about sort of how we'll look in a few years' time, but I think we're in really good stead. We've got some great depth and great young players, Ed Allen and Lockie Sullivan and Harry Di Mattia. So we've still got some really good young players coming through. And then, yeah, it's funny, I don't think you can really put an end date on Pendles or Sidey at this point with the way they're going. So we'll sort of see how it goes. But yeah, I think we're in a really good position no matter what.
Yeah, you mentioned the depth. I absolutely agree with you. I think it's been better than ever this year. Has there been anyone particularly of the younger players that you feel like might not be far away for some consistent senior footy?
Yeah, well, I think the obvious one's Ed. He's been sort of a little bit stiff. We've been a really healthy list, and obviously playing some pretty good footy at the moment, so he's struggled to crack in consistently. But yeah, I think in the few games he's played, you've sort of seen seen what he's capable of, and every time he goes back to VFL, he plays really strongly. And I think he's the obvious one where I think he's ready for that consistent AFL opportunity. And I know he'll take his chance when he gets it.
Now, you mentioned at the start of this chat talking about focusing on the positives regardless of the result of a game, and I feel like that's translated pretty well to what the belief of this group is about going back to claim another premiership. Do you feel that aspiration around the playing group in terms of what they want to achieve? Do you really feel like you're in with a good shot of going all the way in 2025 as a team?
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's definitely the aspiration for everyone, not just the players, but the coaches, the whole club. But yeah, I think at the same time, you can't look too far ahead. There's a long season ahead, so we'll focus on each week as it comes, but that's definitely the end goal. And I think, like you're saying, there's definitely belief that we're capable of that.
Now, on yourself, in terms of what your goals are, whether that's in the short or medium term, have you set yourself any for the next couple of years? Are there specific targets you want to reach in terms of a certain number of AFL games? Are they in more relation to maybe your own development as a footballer? Where do you see yourself as an AFL football player maybe this time next year or even in the next few years?
Yeah, it's a good question. I think I don't like to put too many fixed goals on myself, sort of like think that there's no real ceiling. But yeah, it's just trying to work on my game and, like you're saying, from a developmental point of view, just continue to get better at different aspects and continue to show my strengths. So yeah, I guess in a year's time, hopefully continuing an upward trajectory and continue to work on my game and playing consistent footy and helping the team, really. Now,
you touched on strengths. I need to ask you because I don't think I've seen you once get pinged for holding the ball. You might be able to fact check me on it, but it just seems very difficult to try and tackle you from an opposition point of view. So strong at the hips particularly. Is there an exercise regime you do that prevents others from trying to get you to the ground? Because it seems like you just emerge from the footy at every contest.
Yeah. I guess it is something, like you say, one of the strengths of my game and something I try and work on. I don't think there's anything too specific that I do. Obviously, there's a fair bit of gym work that we do in terms of both upper body, lower body, but the core as well, which I think plays a role. And then at training, we've got a big focus generally and across the pre-season as well as in season on making tackles and breaking tackles. So yeah, like I said, it's one of the strengths of my game and something that I continually try and work on. And yeah, I think it helps the team. If I'm able to sort of break that first tackle, and it usually opens up the game. So I think I have been caught once or twice, but yeah, I definitely sort of back myself in those situations to break the tackle and then go from there.
Do you have a bench press figure you're willing to share for us here? Because again, it seems like very strong with the torso.
Oh, I'm nothing too impressive. I think Bowie's has been mentioned in the media previously, and he's leaps and bounds above me. So I think him and Billy Frampton are the two big dogs at the club that are pushing some pretty big weight. But yeah, I'll hopefully try and get up there in the years to come.
Well, you've got plenty of time, and the way you're playing your footy right now, Ned, I think you're going to have plenty of opportunities to try and break that barrier. But nonetheless, it's been fantastic to chat to you today. We really do appreciate your time from a Pies fan point of view. It's been fantastic to see the improvement that's been made in such a short time frame. And for your sake and for our sake, we're hoping to see that continue throughout 2025 and beyond. Thanks again for coming on, Ned, and all the best for the season ahead and for whatever else is to come.
Thanks, Nicholas. I really appreciate that. Thanks for having me on.